Hi, everyone. I'm Rosemary Coates in Silicon Valley. I'm your host for this edition of the Frictionless Supply Chain Podcast. I'm the executive director of the Reshoring Institute, where we help companies bring back or expand their manufacturing in the US. And I'm a contributing writer to Supply Chain Management Review. Today, I'm delighted to introduce you to Adi Kleiman, the Vice President of Product at aiOla. aiOla is such an interesting breakthrough process in technology and supply chain. aiOla converts manual processes into speech-based workflows. But I'm going to let her tell you all about what she's working on at aiOla. So welcome, Adi.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. I'm really excited to be here with you.
And tell us about aiOla and its mission, and what's going on there. What are the products and so forth?
So, aiOla's mission is all about connecting the promise of AI to the masses. And basically, we do that by enabling companies to connect that power of AI to their daily activities. As we all know, speech is the primary and most natural form of communication. Look at us. We're, conducting this podcast, we're talking, and voice first interfaces are predicted to be the default human machine interaction. But there's a challenge with this today. At present, the speech technology that is out there is just not accurate enough to understand unique business jargon, let alone different languages or accents, or even operate in different and complex acoustic environments. Most of the speech recognition or ASR technologies that are out there today, they are looking at the problem from a very wide lens and trying to kind of generalize and solve this, in a very general way, where we are looking at it in a very focused way and solving each business case at a time, and really focusing on that specific jargon. So basically, with our technology and our product, we've initially secured a patent just for our approach to jargon identification and keyword spotting. And then we developed some additional layer on that proprietary technology that enhances the conversion of speech to data with greater accuracy across all languages, basically. And today we can actually create a language model in mere hours for every specific jargon with unprecedented accuracy.
So I think most of us are familiar with Alexa, the Google application and device. And when we talk to it, it interprets things. I use mine all the time. I ask it what the weather is and how to cook, roasted vegetables, and what's the latest song by my favorite group or whatever. So I mean, this is kind of a speech to text understanding, but you take it a much more sophisticated level, and include all kinds of language and jargon, right?
Exactly. That is such a great example. So, the Alexas and Siris of the world, they look at the problem from a very wide perspective, and they are very well trained. They're very accurate for, general things like how do I cook vegetables, or, what's the weather, or turn on the air conditioning. Where, when we talk about processes, especially in manufacturing, supply chain, the jargon there is so specific that these type of technologies cannot pick it up and their accuracy drops. And this is, the beauty of aiOla and what we're doing differently.
Okay. Can tell us a little bit about your background? I mean, this is such an interesting area, and I think AI in particular has come of age in supply chain, but it wasn't always that way. And I'm interested in knowing what your background is and how you arrived at this point.
Yeah, so I've been building B2B, so business to business enterprise software as a service or SaaS products for over 15 years. And during this time, I gained invaluable insight into the needs of businesses and the really pivotal role that technology and data, especially, I would say, play in shaping their operations. I constantly encounter challenges that really demanded innovative solutions. Technology, could always help, but it became so clear to me that traditional approaches could only take us so far. And that's kind of when my fascination with AI began to blossom, and really witnessing the potential for AI to revolutionize how businesses operate. I was so eager to develop, a transformative technology like that. And I would say that one of the most rewarding parts of my journey is having that opportunity to apply that amazing technology and AI and solve real world problems. That kind of what led me to focus on, supply chain, or manufacturing, and those type of businesses, really helping, everyday challenges. It doesn't matter whether it's optimizing manufacturing throughput, supply chain logistics, or even predicting market trends. I'm really passionate, as you can tell, about harnessing the power of AI to drive those meaningful outcomes, and really create value for organization.
So did you start your career in computer programming or in business, or how did you come up through the ranks?
So yeah, I started as an engineer
Okay.
and then kind of moved my way more into product management. And product management is really kind of that middle woman between business and technology. And I love that position, understanding business challenges and solving them with technology.
Ah, I see. Yeah, that's a really specific area that I think is hard for people inside of companies to do. So, to translate what the business needs are, the direction, the strategy, the targets, all of that into actual action. That's a difficult job. And it requires a strategic thinker and, somebody that goes beyond just the day-to-day operation, making things run. So yeah, I mean, kudos to you. And that's a tough job to be in. And you had background at other companies too, like Salesforce, right?
Yeah, this is, I think, where I really kind of gained my passion for AI. So yeah, I was many years at Salesforce, leading an entire portfolio of products that are AI based for CRM, for Sales Cloud, by Salesforce. Um, and as I said, just seeing how AI can solve very easily. For the user, it's very easy. There's a lot of course, smart technology behind it, but really solve everyday challenges and taking that added value of data and converting that into insights, into actions at a click of a button, or, with aiOla at just a mere kind of voice command. This is just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting. And I think such a good application in not only in manufacturing, but like you said, in warehousing and logistics and other supply
Mm-hmm.
applications where you can speak a command, right? And
Yeah.
suddenly somebody knows how to do something or the machine responds. So give us a couple of examples of what we're talking about here.
So really anywhere where there are manual operations, repetitive tasks, things like checklists, inspections, audits, these processes can just be swapped for speech. We have a number of Fortune 500 businesses, such as food manufacturers, who really utilize our speech AI with their pre and post manufacturing inspections, for example. And they were able to cut their inspection time by 50%, just changing nothing, but instead of writing or reporting at a later time, just using speech as they were running those checks. And that resulted in an additional hour of actual manufacturing per day. And that impact on the business, exactly, the additional throughput that you get
So
is just amazing.
somebody that's checking the quality of a part, for example, they can just speak that it's out of caliber or that it passes or something like that instead of typing it in on a computer screen, something like that.
Exactly, exactly. And this is actually another, it's very similar to another, example of another customer that customer of ours. It's one of the largest beverage manufacturers or producers in the world. And they're using aiOla. The forklifters in their warehouse are using aiOla to report on any incident in real time while they're processing pallets. And one of the most important critical KPI that, again, has a direct impact on their ROI is what they call the pallets per labor hour. So how many pallets are they able to load per hour? And because they can do all of this using speech as they are doing their job, they were able to increase that KPI in double digits percentage. So it's amazing. Yeah.
So a forklift
Yeah.
operator that might go to a specific bin somewhere and find that the products aren't there, they could speak.
Exactly. Something was spilled.
Well, that's really interesting too, because then you would have an immediate view of a problem in the system. Either you've lost the product, it's been misshelved, or it's been there's theft or something like that. You would know immediately that there was a change in the inventory. That's really quite
Exactly.
amazing.
And not only that, with aiOla, because we are integrated to your other systems, you can actually real time notify someone that can actually, solve the challenge or the issue in real time. You don't need to wait for anything to happen. So
Yeah,
really improves your
I've worked in
productivity.
I've worked in warehouses where if there's a problem with the count or the bin is not in the right place or something like that, and somebody writes it down or tries to remember it, and then at the end of the day somebody tries to solve
Exactly.
it and so forth. Yeah. And it contributes to inaccuracy in the warehouse and inefficiency, obviously. So if you do speech recognition like this, you have the opportunity to really improve efficiency and accuracy in a warehouse location. What about logistics? So we talked about warehousing and manufacturing. Is there an
Right.
example?
Manufacturing. Yeah, definitely. So again, one of our customers is a big delivery company, so delivering packages. So anything from identifying default packages, damaged packages, reporting on them real time, not having to stop the process of uploading or putting things in the track. You can just report on it real time. And again, as I said, it goes into the right workflow and the need to take care of it. That's just one example that kind of comes to my head when thinking about
Yeah,
logistics
that's
as well.
fantastic. So they're delivering a package to your front door and it's damaged or something. You can say delivered, but there's a corner bent or something like that. Yeah, very
Exactly.
interesting. Wow, wow. I can just see all kinds of productivity improvements that come from this application in particular. So very excellent. So if we're in a supply chain management position inside a company and we're trying to make a case for implementing AI, how do we make that case? I mean, is there a payback period, or how difficult is it to implement something like this?
The beauty, I think, of these type of products, AI, specifically aiOla, is that it's almost instant. It's purely ROI based. Just some of the examples we talked about. You see the value almost immediately when you start using the technology. There's almost no ramp up time. You see the efficiency, you see the productivity increase, you see the growth in knowledge, in data capturing. We were talking about it earlier. In the past, if you had to remember something and then go write it down, you don't remember really what happened.
Right.
So you write 2-3 words and that's it. But with aiOla, you just speak it as it happens. And really, the company has so much more knowledge into what's happening on the floor, on the ground. So just, immediate ROI.
Yeah, I can see a particular application. I have a client who is getting a lot of returns for repair or refitting or something like that of medical devices. And they have, all different sizes and shapes of packages and all different products all together, jumbled together. I mean, it's kind of a big mess to try to check all these things in and to get them moving through the repair process. I can imagine how a product like this would be such a tremendous help in describing the package and what's going on with it. So you have immediate documentation. I mean, it's really amazing.
Exactly.
Okay, so sometimes employees are reluctant, though, to implement new technologies. I know I've seen, in my consulting career, a lot of people that are somewhat reluctant to look at technology or implement technology because they're afraid they're going to lose their job over it. How do you address that issue, or how do you work with the employees to get them to understand this is an enhancement, not a replacement?
Yeah, this is such a great question. And I agree. I agree that, this is a concern. But the beauty, I would say, of aiOla is that, we're not here to disrupt or transform. These are big words that a lot of big technology companies like to use, but we really are not here to do that. We're really here to complement. So aiOla really complements your existing processes. We really help the users, the workers who actually execute these workflows or processes, to just work more freely, speaking in their own native language, and enabling, those users to do just less tedious and less manual operations, simplify the data capture process as we talked about it. And it's really all about empowering the user. aiOla is really easy to use. It's, just like speaking to a friend. Imagine you have a new employee, for example, and you were just walking them through how you're executing a flow. That's all you need to do. Just say what you're doing, talk about it. You are still, the expert. You're still doing the job. Nobody is taking away that from you, but we're just helping you do it in, again, more efficient, more productive way, complementing what you're doing. Another great thing, by the way, that I do want to say here, and we've seen this in some of the companies that I've mentioned before, big enterprises that have presence in many countries, the ability that users can now speak in their own language, but then at the end of the day, the data is captured and then translated and being, processed in the language that is preferred by the company. So if you have a new hire that is speaking a different language, just let them work in whatever language is comfortable for them.
Wow.
And aiOla will do the rest. Yeah,
That's
so it's a
really
really big
interesting.
advantage.
Yeah, we along the US Mexico border, we have a lot of bilingual people. That would be a huge benefit if you could speak in both English and Spanish, and
Exactly.
still end up with the same translation and the same information that's implemented into the system. Then excuse me. Um, then integrating with other systems. So does aiOla integrate with ERP systems, for example, or warehouse systems?
ERP, CRMs, even customer success, customer care systems. We talked about that courier who's delivering a package and you want to inform that there's a damage or something that could go into customer success or customer care system. Yes, definitely. aiOla can actually trigger processes in that ERP or manufacturing system. It could also get the data from them if there's data that is relevant and critical to run a process. And then, display that or, just make sure that that's available for the user when they're executing their workflow. So yeah, we have all those integrations.
Wow, I can certainly see why you're very excited about this. This is just so obviously wonderful and such an obvious enhancement to operations level people. So uh, I just think it's really a breakthrough and an amazing use of AI, and really I can see you being very successful going forward. So, Adi, we have a lot of women that listen to this podcast, and what recommendation do you have for listeners, men and women, who are up and coming in their careers? What would you tell them, since you're a successful high-level executive, how do you help others behind you to achieve success in their own careers?
I love this question, I have to say. And I gave it some thought, and I can tell you that for me in my career, there's two things that help me so much, really to grow and kind of find the best place for me. I think for me, the first thing is really about finding your voice. And it's more than just, speaking up. It's really about kind of embracing your own unique perspective and insights, and expressing your ideas and aspirations. And, to me, when I think about my voice, for me, this is the most potent tool, to influence and impact. So just, don't hesitate to share your thoughts and advocate your goals, and really assert your presence, in any room or conversation. I know sometimes women tend to not do this. And for me, this is, a reminder to always do this. This is so important kind of in growing your career. But also equally important for me as a whole, always has been my network and kind of, the power of network. I think networking is such an important tool. Just building those meaningful connections with peers or mentors, industry leaders, it really opens doors to opportunities. And it's not just about, collecting business cards that don't really exist anymore today, but, having a lot of LinkedIn connections. It's really about kind of cultivating this authentic relationship. And that it's built on trust, built on shared interests and thoughts. I think your network can always be a source for inspiration, for guidance, collaboration, and really helping you kind of look at your career, propelling you to kind of forward your career, and really help you navigate any changes along the way. So to me, those two things have always helped me as I was looking for my next challenge, or was trying to, think what's next for me. And just, my 2 cents for any woman or men out there thinking about how
Very
to grow
good.
their careers.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you very much. So thank you for joining us today, Adi. It was so interesting to talk to you, and it's such an interesting product. Can you please give us your contact information if listeners want to learn more about aiOla or to get in touch with you?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. I loved it. It was so much fun. And please feel free to reach out for any questions. My email is my name, so DADI at aiOla, AIOLA, .com.
Great. Thank you. And you can listen to more frictionless supply chain podcasts posted on Supply Chain Management Review and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can reach me, Rosemary Coates, at reshoringinstitute.org, and visit our website, www.reshoringinstitute.org, where we publish all of our research on manufacturing in America. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Okay.